Hey there, friends, and welcome back to Imagine with Royce. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name's Royce. I'm a painter, sculptor, and a collector. Today, I'm going to be answering a question I got in the comment section. Where did all the hags go from Snow White's Scary Adventures? Alright, so Snow White's Scary Adventures was a former attraction in Disneyland's Fantasyland, and it also was at Walt Disney World in Florida. This attraction was an opening day, but of course it had a lot of evolution, not only with the story itself, but adding and subtracting figures throughout the 60 years it existed. I had the honor and the privilege of working on this attraction many times. I actually worked on the hag herself many times. Of course, a lot of the birds that a lot of you have seen over on my Instagram, Imagine with Royce. So a lot of you are maybe wondering, so we noticed that the hag kind of disappeared. So Snow White's Scary Adventures truly was scary. The hag was in that attraction more times than any figure, I think, in the entire ride. And it terrified children for decades. It scared me even to walk through it. So it's no surprise that Disney's art direction decided to go a little bit more happier and a lighter route with the new attraction. So a lot of the figures got moved around during this refurb. So it wasn't just her, a lot of new scenes were added and special effects, especially in the finale scene and the Seven Dwarfs Mine attraction, which has just been an amazing addition, and special effects just enhance something that's really small, but it makes a big impact. And the hag, of course, still exists in her cauldron scene, and then you see her at the very top of the mountain running away. So where did all the other ones go? So unlike Splash Mountain, this attraction is still alive and well. So she's in the shop. The existing hags, I'm sure one got moved to the archives. There's already a few in the archives from Disney World, and then the rest are used as spares. So a lot of you may or may not know this, but I shouldn't say every, but majority of the figures have a spare, so that if something breaks, and remind you, the story is the most important part of any attraction. So if, say, the auctioneer were to break in Pirates, the art direction has the right to close down the attraction until it's fixed. So a lot of times you may be like, okay, well, why does the ride close? I have a fast pass, I have, my Genie Plus. Why does the ride close? The ride operators have to tell you, there's a technical issue. But if the WDI art direction takes a show check through the attraction and she sees a major component of the story affected, she has the power over ride ops to shut down the ride, because it truly affects the story, which is the most important part of every attraction. So the hag, herself, her movement in the scene that she did survive isn't that much, right? I mean, she literally just moves from right to left. The effects on her cauldron were enhanced beautifully. And then of course you see her in the scene where she turns around and she transforms from the evil queen into the hag. So that's the same face mold. So more than likely what survived is the heads, not so much the costumes. And they'll be used if she ever breaks down or needs to, be switched out. That figure, I worked on her once in 8 months. So, unfortunately, unless a guest were to throw something at her, and this may sound disgusting, but it's true, this happens. Guests spit on figures, especially in Peter Pan, because they're down there, and there's something in your saliva that when the UV black light hits it, it glows and you see like strips. And unfortunately, maintenance isn't allowed to touch the audio animatronics. We have to. So they'll call us, or the ride supervisors will submit to the maintenance teams, and then we'll go and we'll use Simple Green to clean off the spit. Yes, that happens more times. People throw chips, churros, ice cream. You'll be amazed what people will bring to Disneyland. But yeah, that's kind of what happens to the hag. I hope that you liked the enhancements to Snow White's Scary Adventures. It was an interesting refurb because it happened during COVID. There's actually a little clip that Disneyland, it's like the official website or YouTube channel, posted a video of like Ken, the art director, and stuff. It's really interesting because there's so much talent that works on these figures. And I had the opportunity to work on the birds, which was such an honor and a privilege. I remember I was working in the shop and I came in and it was a brown bird from the very top of the first scene flew into my desk. I painted him and my art director signed it. And then I was like, okay, cool. That took me a day. And then the next day, another bird came, finished that bird as a blue bird. Then the next day, another bird came, and then another bird came. I just kept getting all of these birds. And you know what? It was an honor. I got to see, original sculpture designs by Blaine Gibson. And, for those that have a question on how you make something look so exact, we get beautiful documentation. And WED Imagineering from the 60s and 50s started this. So kudos to Alice and Mark and Leota Toombs and Harriet Burns, all of these amazing art directors. They really thought ahead in terms of, okay, one day somebody's going to need to know how we did this. So we get beautiful documentation of color callouts and reference pictures so that we can replicate exactly what we see so it looks like it never left the attraction, even though it certainly did. And yeah, it was such an amazing attraction to work on, and that's what happened to the Hags. Now, there are quite a few apples running around online, so let me just tell you that we would go to Michael's and buy styrofoam apples and then paint them our, Mann Brothers acrylic show theme paint style red so that it obviously went into the attraction cohesively. But it's interesting when I see so many apples, I'm like, now I know who took all of these. Another figure that gets a lot of stuff stolen from him is the little king in Alice in Wonderland. People always take his little styrofoam wand with the little hearts on it. Leave that stuff alone, please. Do not take these figures accessories because it just makes more unnecessary work and it affects the story for guests that are first time viewers of the attraction. So just always keep that in mind. And yeah, I hope that answers your question. If you like this sort of content, let me know. Hit subscribe and ring that bell icon. That way you're notified whenever I upload a new video. If you have more questions, let me know. Drop a question in the comment section and I may answer it for you in an entire video. Until next time, dreamers, always remember not only to follow your dreams, but to chase them. Later.